Hello, today. Welcome back to In the Greenhouse with Orchid Supply Store. My name is Ken, and I'll be your host today. So today, let's do a few things. First off, we'll start with a quick trip through the greenhouse because it's unusual, but I have a few orchids that are in bloom. So we'll show those, and once we get through the greenhouse, we'll come back here and we'll start with today's video. So see you in a couple of minutes. And normally I would have this on a selfie stick, but I'm just holding the camera because I want to get through this and show them to you. Don't have anything up here. You've seen them so many times, the greens. Got something there. I don't know what it is. That is a big long spike. That one's different. That's going to be nice, whatever it is. What is that going to be on? It's going to be on one of these. I don't think I've ever had one of those in bloom either. So I will save that one for myself. And as we come down, see if we spot anything else of interest. And that one right there. You've seen this one before. This is the Philinopsis on a mount. And I now have 1, 2, 3 of these in bloom, with one mounted in bloom. I just don't know what to do with flowers in bloom. And then this one just keeps on hanging. I mean, it's there. Okay, the latest on my seed, you can see they're germinating, which is what this is supposed to do, just for germination. And then when they get to a little bit bigger, I don't know how much bigger, they'll go into pots. A couple of Philinopsis here, which you've seen before. The Hoya, which all of them are doing really nice. Yeah, I've started bringing in a few of the younger Vandas. These are getting to the point that they're large enough to sell. So I'm bringing those in, and those are going to be some varieties that you've either never seen or haven't seen in quite some time. And then I pulled out this basket and this Philinopsis that has a spike on it, and I'm going to put that Philinopsis in that basket, and that will be yet another video coming soon. Okay, welcome back from the walkthrough. And the first thing we're going to do is hang a couple of Vandas. As I showed you in previous videos, I had, I think it was 75 Vandas that I received. And when I unbox them, I just lay them out so that I can separate them, know what I have, and so that I can get them watered correctly. And then I hang them as I have time. Well, I never have time, but today I'll show you what I do. So we start out with, obviously, a hanger. And this is a 20-inch hanger. That's what I put most of my orchids on. And I already have a few, that I brought out. And this is an Aerodova Vanda Lang Pratang. I wish people would name these something that I could pronounce, but that's okay. Okay, so what we do is we take the hanger and one by one we feed the wires through the basket, bending them up so that they will hold. And I hear my grandson coming in his Vroom truck. You can always tell it's him, when he's coming down the drive, because he's got the loudest muffler among all of us. So anyway, one by one, get the 4 of them. So now it's hanging. I look to be sure that it's hanging fairly straight. And number 1, and I number them. Remember I told you a while back that to make things easier, I'm putting a number on them, and this is 321, and it goes on the wire so that it's easy to find, and that's what hangs. So we're only going to do a couple of these because I don't think you could stand watching me hang 75 of these, because it takes a while. But I will show you a couple of them. So we get the next one, we get the wire. One by one, we put the wire in the basket. And you want to keep your wires relatively straight, because the one thing, and I've always said, you don't want to get your Vanda panties in a wad. And that's what I call these wires. Because if you get them tangled, they don't hang. It's just totally crooked, and it's all cattywampus, and they don't hang straight. They get tangled with other Vandas. So that's those 4 wires. That's the Vanda. I check to be sure it's hanging fairly straight. I get a number tag. It goes on the wire. And if I can get it on the wire, I had 2 of them there. Okay, so that one is ready to go. Let's do 2 more, just so you'll understand the process. It's not like it's real difficult, but okay. Next Vanda, next wire, one by one, putting them in the basket, being sure the wires are not tangled and wrapped around each other, as that one was. Through the basket. Check to be sure that it's hanging, and this one needs a little bit of adjustment. What I do is I put the leaves so that it's hanging straight. Next number, or the same number, just the next one. Put it on the wire, ready to go. One more. Wire, Vanda, one by one. And after doing this for 75 Vandas, it kind of gets to my fingers, and probably get to yours also, because I'm pushing and twisting these wires, and always get it right on the end, where it's sharp. And my poor old fingers are not young and supple like they used to be. They're kind of old and dried up, and that's the one thing that I have noticed, and if any of you are a little bit of age, you probably notice it also. The skin is much more sensitive. Okay, that one looks good. And my wife asked me, who do I fight every day? Because I'll come in and I'll have bumps and bruises and cuts and scratches, yeah, all over me. And all it is just old skin. You know, I guess you would call it thin skin. Yeah. So that one is ready to go. Okay. And I do this over and over, in this case, 75 times until I get all of them wired, hanging, and then, of course, on the rack, yeah, for sale. Okay, what do we want to do next? I've got something that I'm doing just for myself. It will not be for sale. Let me, oh, my shoe came off. I'm going to set all of these up here. I'm going to do 4 of them. I've already put the dirt in these pots. These pots can be hanging pots, you know, because they have hangers with them. You can just sit them wherever, and if they do well, these may go on our front porch. And what I'm going to do is I've got some seed here. You may have seen similar things. I know in the fall you can find pots like this that are planted with mums, and they put about 50 times more mums in the pot than it should hold. You know, so it's just a massive, big ball of flowers, and I thought that was so pretty. So I'm going to try something. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to try it. And with this, I'm going to do daisies. Not going to plant them quite that thick, but it's still going to be much, much thicker than daisies would normally be planted. So, I mean, normally you would plant these 4 or 5 inches apart, something like that. Well, there's either 10 or 12 seed in this packet, and I'm going to plant every one of them in this pot and hope they come up. These seed are about 1.5 years old, so I'll be honest, I don't know if they're viable seed or not. We shall see. Okay. And you just got to tap these slightly in the dirt to cover them. You don't want to plant them too deep. Okay, and I will water these later. Okay, so that's number 1. That was red daisies. And what I'm going to do is I will put the packet with it so that I will know what is planted there. That's a good idea, Ken. I don't know who told you should do that, but that's a wise idea. So, red daisies, packet in the ground, so now I know what it is. Okay, this one is a yellow daisy, and going to do the same thing. Going to plant all of the seed, even though you're not supposed to. I'm going to count them this time. Well, I thought I had one, but I didn't. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's not many seeds in a pack. These jokers are relatively expensive as far as the number of seed that you get, but if they all come up, it will be worth it. I mean, they're a beautiful plant. Okay, so this is the yellow one, and we'll put the packet on it so that I know which one it is. That's 2. Number 3, another daisy. And this one, if I can find the opening, I'm sure I opened it somewhere. There it is. Aha, I'm dumping them on the counter here. Not as many in this one. Ah, goodness. This one is a white daisy that they call vanilla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 seed in that one. And that says there's 10. So, oh, there's one. That one did not have an inner pack. That was the problem. And there's the 3 seed. There's the 4th. Okay. There were 10. I'm just throwing them everywhere. There we go. And a pack of white. Number 4. Okay, on this one, what is this? Dianthus. Haven't had these in a long, long time. This is a purple crown Dianthus. Okay. A lot more seed in this one. Okie doke. So, we'll just kind of broadcast these because there's a lot of seed in here. Probably 50 or so seed because they're much smaller. But that's great because then we'll have entirely too many plants in here. What does it say? 50 seeds, so I was right. Okay, so cover these slightly, just kind of feather the dirt because you don't plant them deep at all. Just enough to get them covered. And we'll put the package on this one so that we'll know what it is. Okay, so this is going to be my gift to me if they come up. I mean, I hope they do. Don't know any reason why they won't, but we shall see. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mount a couple of orchids. So let me get these out of the way and be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back, and what we're going to do this time, or what I'm going to do this time, is I'm going to mount a couple of orchids on a quite large piece of wood. This is going to, again, this is something for me, something I'm going to keep. What I have found, just something I've known, but I've really come to realize that I never keep anything that's in bloom. I rarely have anything to show you that's in bloom because we sell it. I mean, that's my business. I sell the orchids, and we always pick the ones that are in spike or in bloom. That's what we ship. But I had one recently, a Dendrobium, which I've had a little video on Instagram, and I'll show you the picture of it. And it's the first time I've had one of that type to bloom, and quite honestly, it's beautiful. So I said I need to keep some of these for myself. Not a lot, just one here and there, just for my own enjoyment. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to mount one, actually two, on a piece of wood and let it grow and enjoy it. So we're starting off with a fairly large piece of wood. This is something that's going to sit. It's not going to hang. And I'm going to put a few pieces together. Let's see, do I have any screws? Let me check my pocket. And phone, don't need that. Got a couple of screws here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is screw this log to the mount. So that it doesn't come apart. And this is something that you can do. I mean, anybody can do this. Interesting. It says it has plenty of power, but is not doing anything. So let's change. I just got a fresh battery on the other one. Let's change that out. Sounds better. Okay, let's try this again. I think two of these screws will probably hold it. That was Nicholas, my grandson, telling me that he's leaving for the day. He works a strange schedule. His father owns the lawnmower shop here in Noonan. So Nick will start at the lawnmower shop in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. He works there until 10, I think it is. Then he comes here and he works until 2. And then he leaves here and goes back to the lawnmower shop and works until 5:30. So he's needed at both places. He's a real big help. But that was Nick telling me he'll see me tomorrow. So I've mounted one piece of wood, and I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm going to attach some pieces of wood to elevate another orchid. Just so that doesn't split. God, it's always hard to come off. I'm going to pre-drill a hole in this one. And of course, I'd have to pick the very strongest and heaviest wood there is for this. Okay, you'll see where I'm going with this in just a minute. I hope. Okay, I have a Philinopsis, and I've already cleaned this up. It was in the original pot. Had a lot of moss, had the moss core. It was in not great shape, but it was okay. A lot of very nice roots, some that are questionable, but we're going to give it a shot. And this I'm going to mount on the round log and let the roots flow this way. This is one of the orchids that normally I would send to Trish out in Colorado because she operates our ICPU unit. That's the Intensive Care Plant Unit. And any of these orchids that I have that I just don't care for properly, they really get to the point that they're in need of intensive care. And in the past, I just threw them away, because I didn't want to fool with them. So what I do now is when I have 6 to 10, something like that, I'll send them to Trish, and she brings them back to life. And she does a fantastic job. Okay, this particular orchid is an older orchid. It has a big stalk that I'm going to cut the bottom off of. And it is a tough one. There we go. Nothing but wood, so that's good. Okay, that way it'll sit a little bit better. And we're going to mount it just like this. And you have probably seen in the past that I really like the goodness, the thought just left my mind. The burlap. It just really operates very good for me. And I need to hammer that in just a little bit better, which I'll do. So I take the burlap. Let me get a few of these roots here in the back. And we're going to wrap the burlap around the roots. And this is what's going to anchor it for us. I'm not going to tie it in any other way. Yeah, just with the burlap. And again, this is something that any of you can do. It's really not that difficult. Just be sure not to get the roots so that they're bound and twisted and tied. Okay, I think that will do it. Don't believe it's going anywhere. So we'll cut off the excess. And that's how that looks. And what I may do is put just a little bit of moss here on top of it to help keep a little moisture, and then put a piece of burlap on top of that. Okay, then the little elevated part here, I'm going to put this Dendrobium. I was so pleased with that one that was in bloom. I said, I'm going to try again. And it was mounted on a piece of wood, and it truly loved that piece of wood. It took it about a year, yeah, but it was really spectacular. Dropped my other piece of burlap, so let me grab it. And we will attach this same way. Yeah, just don't want to smash those roots on this large piece of wood, which is what I'm about to do. So we'll bring them this way temporarily. Okay, let's see what we got here. So that's going to sit just like that. Yep. I hope you're still with me. This video is taking much. Well, that was interesting. It looks like the battery on the camera died. So I've had to go replace everything. And it looks like I'm twisted just a little bit. So that's probably better. So let's continue. Okay, we'll start off by stapling the burlap to the top block here. Like so. Got it. And then we'll take the Dendrobium, set it here on the top, and try to wrap it so that it looks good and doesn't fall. And I think that looks good right there. And then we'll wrap it this direction. And the one great thing about this burlap is the roots grow right through it. It doesn't inhibit the growth at all. Whoa, just about got my finger on that one. Okay. And is that tight enough? I think it is, but I still have a fair amount. So what I'm going to do is wrap and staple right there. Okay, put a staple there. And you've probably noticed that I talk to myself because no one else is out here. Oh, I haven't asked or I haven't told, how is the weather in your location? It has been just crazy here. Of course, we're in Georgia, and the weather can be strange. Oh, no good there. And one day, it was 70 degrees, a couple of days actually, 70 degrees. And then this morning, I think it was like 40 degrees. So you just never know what to expect. Okay, so that, I think that one is just perfect right there. And I've got just a small piece of burlap. That'll be great right there. I'm going to put some moss, on the top of this. Not much, just a little. And that didn't do anything at all. Oh, I got a big knot there. That's why. So I need to get rid of that big knot on the burlap. Let's try this again. Okay, I think that'll hold. And I'm going to use some Spanish moss. Normally I use the sphagnum moss, but I had a bag of this handy, and I'll let it kind of flow out. That's a little too much. So it'll be not only for moisture, but also for a little bit of decoration. So we'll put that right there. Be sure I don't get no roots. Okay, there we go. So that's that one. And that's how that one looks. And I'll fix the roots so that they are sitting appropriately. Okay, I think that's about all you guys are going to be able to put up with today. Oh, I have the name tag for this one. And these are normally no name, but this one has a name. I'm just going to staple it right there. That way it'll be there. And the Dendrobium, also have that one, which I will staple right there. Okay, so that's my custom mount, and we'll watch this grow throughout the year. Okay, why don't we take a quick trip through the greenhouse now? I might have done one earlier, but that was a couple of days ago. So we'll do one right now, and because I do have one or two in bloom, and we'll take a look at it. See you shortly. I've got some of these right here that need to be repotted, so we're going to repot those because they're just falling over in these little pots. Got quite a few, maybe 20 or 30, that need to be repotted. So we're going to do that. So all of that's coming soon. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm going to have to edit this video and cut it down because I don't know how long it is, but it's probably too long to watch. But I'll see when I go through the editing, and hopefully it's not going to be so long and so boring, that we can get through it. One thing that I wanted to mention, this kind of hits close to home. As most of you probably know, I had a bout of cancer about 8 years ago, colon cancer, and I'm one of the fortunate ones. I survived. A couple of weeks ago, we found out that my grandson-in-law, my granddaughter's husband, was diagnosed with colon cancer. His was a little bit worse than mine. His had metastasized into his liver, and he is currently going through chemo, and very soon he's going to go through surgery. The reason I'm mentioning this is if you're 45 years old or older, get yourself checked. Have a colonoscopy. It doesn't hurt. It's quick. When you wake up, you drive home. It's just not a big deal, but it can save your life. Mine was found early. They were able to get mine out. I have no problems. I went through the chemo, which kicked my ass. I still have some problems with neuropathy that was brought on by the chemo, but that's a whole lot better than the other outcome. So get yourself checked. It's well worth your life. Thank you for coming back. If you're new, thank you for coming over. If you are a subscribed member, thank you for coming back. We're going to do this again, and I'll do a few different things. Like I said, we're going to repot some of the ones that are just in too small of pots, and we're going to do several things, and we'll check the progress of the pots that I've put seed in and my amount. So we'll do this again. You come back now.